The Mbappé paradox began the moment he left Paris Saint-Germain, a club he once felt was beneath him, not worthy of his peak years. He joined Real Madrid to finally grasp the Champions League, to win the Ballon d'Or, to become the next legend at the Bernabéu. But in his first season away, PSG won the Champions League without him. Meanwhile, he scored 43 goals and finished the season empty-handed. To make it more ironic, the player closest to the Ballon d'Or now is Dembélé, someone who once played in Mbappé's shadow. If you find this content engaging, informative, or thought-provoking, don't hesitate to hit subscribe. There's even more to come. Mbappé never openly stated it, but his final days at PSG made it clear he no longer truly believed the club was worthy of his fight. It wasn't hatred or betrayal, just a growing doubt about a club that, for over a decade, stumbled through European ambitions only to repeat old failures. PSG tried everything, even bringing in some of the world's most fearsome attacking stars: Messi, Neymar, and of course, Mbappé himself. But the result was almost laughable. Even with that trio, they couldn't reach the Champions League semi-finals. So where did it all go wrong? Mbappé probably didn't know either. He gave PSG his best years, lit up every competition, and carried the team through its darkest moments. Yet every season ended with him in a press room, nodding solemnly as he reflected on yet another lesson learned, whether it was a round of 16 exit, a quarter-final heartbreak, or the crushing final in 2020. Mbappé wanted the Champions League, that much was clear. But deeper still, he wanted to conquer it within a system strong enough to make his brilliance count. PSG helped him become famous, explosive, and rich, but they couldn't help him become a legend. He felt PSG had a ceiling, and regardless of whether it included Neymar, Messi, Ramos, or anyone else, it was still a locked room with iron bars. He could see out, but never break through. So why wait another year? Why waste another season on a hope he no longer believed in? Mbappé never lashed out in public. He didn't cause drama or attack his old club. Well, he did file a wage claim, which is fair. But every decision, every look, every media response screamed one truth: I did enough. PSG did not. He left as a man whose faith had run out, heading to a place he believed was worthy: Real Madrid. A club he thought wouldn't waste another one of his stunning goals. And yet, cruelly, the moment he left, PSG turned into a powerhouse. That's what made everything even more tangled. Mbappé didn't leave only for team trophies, he also left for something more personal: the Ballon d'Or. The ultimate goal for every elite footballer. Naturally, Mbappé wanted it too. At PSG, he had everything: the spotlight, a team built around him. But over time, he realized it still wasn't enough to clinch football's most prestigious individual prize. He wasn't short on goals or highlights. Yet every year, when the shortlist came out, Mbappé hovered in the top 5 or top 3, but never top. Simply because PSG didn't give him what every Ballon d'Or winner needs: a Champions League title, and a media machine to support him. He could outperform anyone, outscore anyone, but if his team crashed out early or were humiliated on the big stage, who would remember his solo runs against Club Brugge in the group stage? Mbappé hated being the best player never to win the Champions League, a label that might haunt him like it did Ronaldo Nazario. And for someone like him, that's just unacceptable. He wanted the feeling Ronaldo once had, the admiration Modric once received. Mbappé wanted that. Mbappé scored 43 goals in his debut season at Real Madrid. A staggering number, especially as he transitioned from wide forward to central striker. People expected Real to become an even more dominant force with Mbappé, a team that had already won La Liga and the Champions League in recent seasons, often with ease. But strangely, the more Mbappé became the focal point, the more Real Madrid struggled. The once smooth machine began to stutter. The other attackers faded, the midfield lost balance. And the natural chemistry between Bellingham, Vinicius, and Valverde started to wither. Mbappé was still Mbappé, shooting like a machine, sprinting like a rocket, scoring from all angles. But those goals weren't enough to save a faltering Real Madrid. They lost everything: La Liga, the Copa del Rey, the Supercopa, and the Champions League. They lost every El Clasico and finished without a single major trophy. And the cruel irony? The more Mbappé carried the team, the lonelier he looked. He got the Golden Boot, broke countless records, but the Ballon d'Or slipped even further from reach. Some began questioning whether his dream of winning it was actually fading. He left PSG thinking they couldn't take him to the top. But if, at Real, he became a goal machine while the team won nothing, would the Ballon d'Or come any closer? Or was it becoming a dream that no amount of pace could outrun? But this is just the beginning of the Mbappé paradox, where everything seems to move in the right direction only to twist when least expected. Mbappé likely believed that once he joined Real Madrid, the trophies would naturally follow. That simply wearing the shirt of the most successful club in Champions League history would bring the Ballon d'Or within reach. But life rarely follows a simple script. The moment he landed in Madrid, Real looked more ordinary than they had in years. And the club he quietly dismissed as not good enough, PSG, rose to become kings of Europe. While Mbappé and Real drifted, PSG, freed from the chaos of the Neymar-Messi-Mbappé trio, quietly underwent a revolution under Luis Campos and Luis Enrique. They stopped chasing star power and started building a team. One that could press, organize, and function as a true unit. No longer 11 individuals, but one footballing machine. No longer reliant on moments of genius, but structured, cohesive, and relentless. The reward? A thunderous 5-0 win in the Champions League final. Turns out, PSG thrived without Mbappé, not just survived, but thrived. Only Mbappé was left stranded. He broke records and collected goals, but ended the season empty-handed. Meanwhile, those once seen as PSG's supporting cast, most notably Dembélé, blossomed in ways no one predicted. With Mbappé gone, Dembélé emerged as a genuine superstar. No longer just a flashy winger, he became a key figure in PSG's pressing system, linking midfield to attack, scoring, assisting, and driving the entire structure forward. And from this contrast, the Ballon d'Or race shifted. Mbappé seemed to have closed the gap by joining Real. But after a season of shining in solitude while Dembélé flourished in a title-winning side, the one closer to the Ballon d'Or, incredibly, was Dembélé. One season, two paths. One paradox. Mbappé, Dembélé. Funnily enough, both evolved into number 9s this season. But in very different ways. Mbappé became the classic centre-forward, the finisher, the man served, the goal-getter. Dembélé took another route, a supporting 9, making smart off-ball runs, dropping deep to link play, stretching defences, and creating space for others. One was the destination. The other, the path. At PSG, Mbappé was once the centre of everything. Dembélé, a peripheral dribbler. Now, Dembélé is the backbone of Enrique's system. While Mbappé scored 43 goals in a trophyless season. And ironically, as the Ballon d'Or looms, it's Dembélé's name that European pundits mention first, not Mbappé's. So, regret it, Mbappé? A fair question after PSG's Champions League triumph. But really, there's nothing to regret. Mbappé didn't lose. PSG didn't lose. They both won, just in different ways. And that's true. Mbappé didn't whine, didn't post cryptic stories, didn't accuse anyone of disrespect. He left because it was time to leave the comfort zone. Not because he hated PSG, in fact. He's always spoken of them with respect and gratitude, even after leaving. So when PSG won the Champions League without him, it wasn't some dramatic heartbreak. It was like watching someone you once loved find happiness with someone new. It doesn't make you less of a person. Maybe just a little stunned by life's cruel timing. PSG gave everything to keep him, and the moment he left, they finally soared. Yes, he'll get trolled, heavily. But if he stays level-headed, he'll know he made no mistake. 43 goals. European Golden Boot. The new face of Real Madrid, the club of Ronaldo, Zidane, Modric. He didn't choose wrong. He just wasn't PSG's final puzzle piece. And PSG wasn't the final piece in Mbappé's Ballon d'Or journey. In fact, his departure may have been the shock PSG needed to rebuild. They abandoned star-centric football for a collective, scientific, pressing-based game. In the end, PSG got the trophy because they dared to change. Mbappé earned stature because he dared to leave. No one lost, both sides began a new chapter. And football gained yet another twist that makes you laugh and think.